Many times, in order to convey his message or leave us instructions, Jesus spoke in parables using similarities and comparisons. To better understand the teachings of Jesus, we came to Taibeh, the ancient Ephraim mentioned in the Bible, to get to know this place, which is the house of parables, where we will touch by hand the objects and elements mentioned by Jesus in his parables. We found ourselves on the patio of the Latin parish which has become a point of reference, having retained the characteristics of a house from the era of Jesus. This crack in the door of the house reminds us of the passage of the Song of Songs. My beloved put his hand to the latch, my heart pounded for him. It was through a similar crack that the inopportune friend receives the 3 loaves he has asked from his neighbor. From this visualization, it is clear how difficult it must have been to satisfy the request of the inopportune friend, since during the night the beds were placed in the central part of the house.
Le papa qui est à l'intérieur de la maison dit
The father who is inside says that it is not possible to satisfy the request because he would wake up the whole house. In the end, however, due to the insistence of the neighbor, something passes through the hole.
par le trou.
Here we see the torch which could not remain hidden but illuminated the whole house.
Et Jésus nous dit, vous êtes la lumière du monde.
Jesus says, "You are the light of the world, and it is by seeing what good you do that people can believe." And he adds, "I am the light of the world. He who follows me will not live in darkness, but will have life."
Il aura la lumière de la vie.
And are you able to imagine how difficult it was for the woman to find a lost coin in a house like this?
Qu'est-ce qu'elle fait? L'Évangile nous dit,
What does she do? The Gospel tells us. She sweeps the house and finds it. And when she finds it, she says to her friends, "Rejoice with me because I found the coin I had lost."
qu'est-ce que j'avais perdu?
Here, furthermore, we see the textiles which remind us of the word of Jesus, "You cannot make new darning in old clothes." We see the leather sacks which help us to understand what Jesus said when he stated, "You cannot pour new wine in old wineskins. If you do, the skins will burst. The wine will run out and the wineskins will be ruined." And again, the plough.
Jesus said, "He who puts his hand to the plow and turns back is not worthy of being my disciple." We must always look ahead because Jesus walks before us.
Leaving Taibeth and to absorb even more the word of God in the imagery used by Jesus, we went back to a village called Sur Baher, located between Bethlehem and Jerusalem. Seeing flocks of sheep with their shepherds is common in this region since ancient times, so much so that in the psalm David stated, "The Lord is my shepherd, I lack nothing." Later, Christ himself said, "I am the good shepherd gives his life for the sheep." In the parables, Christ also uses this work, these animals, to give his teachings.
بفهم أحسن نفهم هو مع الوقت ومع المدة الحين لما تنت علينا بيجي.
They recognize the shepherd's voice, especially after having lived with him for quite some time. I keep them close to me. I spend all the days of my life with them.
باجي الصبح هان وبقف سيارتي بصير ندن عليه يعني فين هاي أجلس حدنا.
Here it is easier to understand that before God we are like these sheep, fragile and in need of care.